Hi, my name is Shane Sealis. Welcome to Mockup Monday number 10, where I try to show you something cool. In this case, I kind of want to show you how to build something cool. So one of the first things that I built was this, quadrapus. And this thing, it has no brain. It's just in a jar. And it was something that I was able to build very quickly in the Unity game development environment, which I was pretty happy with. What I want to do is try to show you how you can do it in hopefully about 15 minutes. So let's start out with, here is the Unity environment with essentially kind of nothing in it. So this is a new scene, and basically you've got two different views. You've got the scene where you basically go about editing things, and then you've got the game view, which is what a user or player would see. And the way that you basically interact with this is you set things up, and then you hit play, and then essentially your program or game is running. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add, say, a cube to the scene. And let's see, we have to find out where the camera is, where the cube is. I don't see the cube. Where's the cube? Cube. All right, so the cube is kind of off in some weird position. Let's just put the cube at the origin. All right, so the cube is now at the origin, and the camera should be looking at it. So if we take a look here, yes, we have the camera and the cube looking at it. So I'm going to actually pull this down, so now we can see both of them at the same time. So if I take the cube and I move it, you can see that here it's moving. Now if I hit play, nothing happens because the cube is just a cube. It's not a physics object. So let's go ahead and add a component to it so that it'll become a physics object. Okay, so now it has a rigid body component with mass and different other components. So now if we hit play, we should see that fall. Okay, great. So that falls. Now let's put a floor there for it to fall onto, so it doesn't just fall forever. So we're going to start with another cube, and this one I'm going to name floor. And I'm going to try to name this floor. Why is this not being renamed? Floor. Okay, I don't know. That's weird. All right, and we're going to put this at the origin as well, and we're going to flatten it out. So we're going to make it 100 by 100, and we're going to make it kind of thin, and stick it at the origin. All right, where's my cube? The cube is kind of, oh, okay, where am I? Cube. All right, so here's my cube. I'm going to lift it up so it's not intersecting with the ground. All right, so if I hit play, it falls onto the ground. Great. So let me actually put a light source in here so it's a little bit easier to see. We'll just add a point light, and just move this around a little bit. Okay, something like that. To the side a little bit. Okay. Cool. All right, so we've got our cube, and so now when we hit play, we can see that it drops. So let's go ahead and start turning this into a quadrapus. So let's, instead of having it be a cube, let's kind of have it be a rectangle. And so here we've got the rectangle, and now let's add another. We're going to start. This is all going to be made out of cubes that we're just going to keep changing to suit ourselves. So here I've got a cube, and I'm going to call this the proximal leg. Proximal leg, and I want to make this bigger. I think this way. Yep, that way's good. So I'm just changing the scale of this. So I'm just kind of taking cubes and then stretching them into the shape that I want. All right, and let's see. Now, I'm also going to add a rigid body to this. So now when I hit play, it should just both fall, kind of push each other away a little bit. And what I want to do is connect these two components. So I'm going to add a hinge joint. So let's see. And what I want you to see is, see this yellow arrow here pointing this way? Well, maybe it'll look like this way to you. I don't know how that works quite yet. But this arrow pointing here, that shows you essentially what the joint normal is. So it's going to rotate around that arrow. So I want to move that arrow, and the way I can do that is by changing this. So you see that arrow changing? And I'm going to change where it's located as well. So now it's over here. And if I hit play, you'll see that, I'm kind of turned around here. Let's see. Yes, okay, so this is what we're looking at. Alright, so we've got the hinge connected, but it's not connected to the other body, it's connected to the world. So the way that we're going to change that is, let's go with this cube, and we're going to change the name of this cube to the root body. And this proximal leg, what we're going to do is take this hinge joint, and we're going to connect it to the root body. So now this is where it's connected. Instead of it being connected to the world, it's connected to the root body. When I hit play, we'll see them both kind of fall together. Let's kind of turn off physics for the root body so we can see that it'll hang off of the other one. So there you go. It's just, the hinge just sticks onto the root body and falls down. So we've got hinges. I'm going to switch this back. All right, and we've got one hinge right there. So let's go ahead and put another one on. And I'm actually just going to copy this one, and I'm going to call it the distal leg. And let's just kind of move this out, and I'm just going to rotate it. Now, you can kind of just play around with these different rotations and basically wait till you kind of play around with it till it works for you. For instance, you can see how each of these affect it. But the nice thing is you can actually just play around, and it will, and you'll see immediately whether or not you are in fact doing kind of what you aim to do. All right, so I've got this thing. Let's hit play. Some funny things might happen. Yeah. For one thing, I've got this new distal leg that's connected to the root body still. And we actually want to connect this to the proximal leg, so I'm going to change that. And also it's penetrating into the ground, so it's going to receive a pretty big force when we play it. Okay, all right, so now we can see those joints working. Let's move these things up. So I'm going to select each of these, and now I can move them all up at the same time so that we're not penetrating the ground. Hit play again. Okay, not too bad. Now, if I could select both legs, one thing I can do is I can add some limits onto this. For instance, maybe I only want these to go between negative 45 and 45 degrees. Hit play. Okay, and Uh, one thing I'm going to do for convenience here is I'm just going to put the distal leg under the proximal leg. So now whenever I select the proximal leg, I get the, I basically am selecting both of them. And using this, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy this 3 times, and now I'm going to go through and basically just rotate these into the positions that I want. So this one, I'm going to go by, I believe Y will do it, okay. And just going to move this leg into position. First one I rotate by 90, this one I rotate by 180. I'm just going to drag that, and 270. Okay. All right. All right. My quadrapus, looks like it's doing the right thing. Now, let's see. So here are all my legs, and I can play around with joints, basically motors. So there's spring motors. I'm going to go ahead and turn this on. So the spring force I'm going to set to 100, damper to 10, target position I'll leave it 0, and this should have been on. Okay, so now I'm going to hit play. So now it should actually stay at the same position because all the motors are essentially saying stay at target 0. Now if I put -45, it displays itself out. If I put it to 45, it should tuck itself in. All right, so now we've got a quadrapus. We've got essentially the ragdoll. If we turn off the springs, that's the ragdoll quadrapus that I showed in my first mock-up. All right, so now that you've come to the end of the tutorial, if you're able to follow along, you should have your own brain-dead quadrapus ragdoll that you can do whatever you like with. I put mine in a jar. Maybe you'll shoot yours out of a cannon or do something else fun with this ragdoll. You can try making a brain for it. I encourage you to do that. And maybe I'll talk more about brains in another segment. All right, thank you very much for watching. Bye-bye.